What I want to share about from A to Z, but then there is no formal Q&A. So if you all have questions, make sure you ask. And Q, I know that you wanted to give value to your members, so we are recording this. I'll make sure you have the full recording. That way you can decide what to do with it, and you might be able to hold that hostage for some people and say, hey, you might have to make a donation or show up at the next meeting in order to get access to it. But here's what I want to, how I want to start. The very first thing, even before I get to that, I want to give some credit and remind us of why we are here today. And especially for NAREB, right? So this is the most recent version of the Florida Realtor magazine for June. But right here, the new study based on NAR, I don't know if you all are aware, but in there it talks about black women becoming leaders in home buying. And that's not by accident. So this is where I want us thinking as we go through this thing today, as we have some conversation, as you think about your business and how you're going to leverage your strategic partners. I want you thinking, okay, how can I take advantage of something that's in front of us that maybe before we didn't realize was a real thing, right? Because we hear home buying is down, who the buyers are, the challenges that are before all of us. But it talks about the African-American female, the amount of businesses that they're owning or starting. The population percentage, the home ownership rates, how much they're borrowing and all of that. And so I encourage us to dive in, get this information, and maybe this is going to be a launch point for a different part of your business. So a lot of times we don't know what's available out there to us or what is coming down the pike because we're stuck in this thing right now. The next thing I want to bring to our attention, Facts.Realtor. Facts.Realtor, Facts.Realtor. Has anyone been to Facts.Realtor in the past month and a half? So Facts.Realtor is talking about all of this stuff that we have going on right now in the real estate industry. That's the short code. So this is, well, you all can't see it, but the short code is Facts, plural, .realtor. And so hopefully you all are aware of Saturday, August 17th. Everyone's aware of Saturday, August 17th and why that's so important. Saturday, August 17th, all of the NAR settlement changes go into effect. So we want to make sure that we are prepared. That's why Q wanted us here today so that we can start to prepare for this thing. Now, the beautiful thing about Facts.Realtor and why I wanted to lead with this is so important that these settlement resources, they are being updated as new information comes out. So today is the 23rd. The most up-to-date the most recent update took place on May 16th with some of the summary of the policy changes. The Q&A, as they find out more information, we're getting things here. Now, no one is going to know what happens until, guess what? We're not going to know until August 16th, the route that we're going to take. Then after that, in November, when we're having hearings, there are going to be changes. If you all are aware, the Department of Justice just raised their hand and said, hey, we're not totally pleased. We're going to probably make more of a fuss in October. Okay, so now as we talk about the realtor of choice, how to go from A to Z, you're probably going to have to be aware of this stuff more than you ever have in your life or your career. Knowing how to sell real estate is no longer good enough. Okay, so we have to know how to have discussions about policy changes because everyone right now, it's a horrible time to buy or sell. I don't want to work with you because I've got to pay you. Now we have to know what the deal is. Does that make sense to everyone? So NAR has done a great job of giving us tools such as the settlement timeline to help us know this is what happened, because what we have come to realize is that with competence comes confidence. And then we want this circle. Okay, so the more competent we are, the more confident we are. The more confident we are, we tend to get more competent in those areas. So very important, August 17th, Saturday, be prepared. Start putting processes and systems in place. Start speaking to your allied resources. Find out what they need to help you in your business. Okay, because I know they want to be here with us. They don't know the challenges that we have. So that's why we have to make sure we're talking with them, that we're having discussions, and then leverage them. Say, hey, what are you hearing? What are some thoughts that you have? How are we operating with the proposed compensation being paid by buyers, sellers credits, buyers? Can we finance it? Do we know all of this? This is why we really have to have great people on our team. Everyone okay there? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I know that we're not here to break down exactly what happens come August 17th.
Right.
I'm not sure how many were on the Zoom call today as far as our local association update. But one of the things that is going to take, the major thing that's going to take place is our contracts is going to be different, our buyer brokerage agreement, our listing agreement, and then for Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association, our MLS, how we put in compensation come August 1st, we're going to go into effect. And you're not going to be able to put the compensation for the buyer agent in the MLS. So just know that. However, from national, it goes into effect August 17th, a lot of it. So Royal Palm Coast, August 1st is when we're going to implement it.
And that's why being here, finding out this information, we have to be plugged in right now like we've never been before. So I've been doing this almost 2 decades, so 18 years I've been in. So we've seen ups and downs, we've seen some changes. But right now, I think because of how polarizing the messaging is, we've got to make sure that we're on top of our game. Any other questions, comments, concerns so far? Okay. So Facts.Realtor, Facts.Realtor, we're going to want to leverage that. I encourage everyone to go there on maybe a Monday or Tuesday and then on Friday. So this way you can be aware of what's happening. And all you're doing is you're just going in to see if any of these update dates down here at the bottom has happened this week. If not, now, if you have never been there, make sure you take some time to go there, get some education, get some information. But for me, I know that tomorrow morning, I'm going to go in and see if something updated this week. If not, I'm going to say, cool, I'm on top of it. And for my Spanish speaking agents, or if you have a Spanish speaking demographic, they do have the fact sheet in Spanish as well. And so that's going to be important for us. And so we've talked about Florida Realtor Magazine, and we've talked about Facts.Realtor August 17th. For you all here, your local association, that's going to be August 1st. We have to get ahead of things so that we are in the right position. But now we are going to go from A to the. What does A to the mean? A means being an agent, being one of many, to being the realtor of choice, especially when it comes to buyer, seller, listing agreements, marketing agreements. We're going to talk about some best practices, some things that we're going to do. So really quickly, do we have any military veterans in the room? Any military vets? Okay, I always want to make sure that I give respect and honor where it is due. My dad was a Navy man. He was a sailor, a blue jacket. And so he always told me, hey, make sure that those people who made it possible for us to have an evening like today where we can enjoy our freedom, that we give honor and respect to them. But there's a second group of individuals who deserve respect and honor, and that's going to be family members of military vets, active service personnel, reservists, and first responders. Anyone have any family members that serve or have served? Because here's why I bring those up, is because I know that with my dad serving, that when your loved one is on deployment or on shift, a big piece of your heart goes out with them. And I know that sometimes we as human beings, we can be jerks, and we might seem like we don't appreciate the sacrifice that you all make, but we really do appreciate the sacrifice that you and your loved ones make. So here's what the is. We talked about A, just being one of many. Right now in the U.S., 1.5 million realtors. So it's hard to be a realtor right now. But if you are the realtor, here's what the means. The equals success. And so here's what I have to ask each and every one of you. When you become the, when you think of the, do you think of success, and do you have the level of success that you want? And here's how we know that you are successful. One word: influence. Do you have influence with your buyers, sellers, prospects, clients, or customers? If the answer is no, you are not successful and you are not the realtor, the professional of choice. Here's what influence looks like. Influence looks like before they make a purchasing, renting, selling decision, they consult with you. If they don't, you do not have the influence that you need. On my way over here this afternoon, I had a client of mine who we've done probably 6 or 7 deals together. He called me because he wanted to know if I had heard of a lawn maintenance company to see if they were any good. Now, for me, it's grass, right? They're just cutting your grass, dude. He was like, hey, I trust you and your people. Do you know of these people? No, I don't. Okay, who would you suggest? And so now in his eyes, I know that I'm the realtor of choice. And so that's what I want you all thinking about and asking, do I have influence in the lives and the minds of the buyers and sellers that I want to work with? Red and blue pill, good news and bad news. And they're both the same. There is no red or blue pill in this game. Okay, so it's not like we're in the matrix. We can get plugged in and we can go from here to there just by choosing the right pill. So that is good news because what? In this room right here, we know this room should be full. We know that this information that we're going to share and learn today, maybe be reminded of, is going to change our businesses, but we have a leg up on the competition. Here's what A is. Now, we're only stopping at A. We're not adding 2 more S's behind it, okay? I'm just saying, we're stopping at A. Not any particular or certain one of a class or group. We know a lot of A's, okay? We have colleagues that are A's, and like I said, we're just talking about not any particular one or a certain group. So here's what we want to do. We want to move from A to D. Here's what I can tell you. In my 18 years, when I was a real estate agent and a realtor, I made decent money. I was okay. When I became the, life changed for me, my family, for my agents, and everyone that I dealt with. Right now, this is the real estate industry. Do you all agree? This is what our group of realtors looks like, especially in 2024. One, there is nothing that differentiates one from another. And then the worst part, so if I were to say, which one of these are you? You would say, I'm the black and white one, right? But then, what do we know about sheep? We know that sheep will follow any shepherd. And here's what's scary and here's what's challenging in our industry right now is that you don't even have to be good to get followers in this business right now. You don't even have to be knowledgeable. You don't have to be professional. You just have to, one, be confident and be the loudest voice. Do you all agree? Right? We know people who are leading the masses right now, and it might be that they're going down the wrong path. But if I'm a buyer or a seller, do I care which one of these that I choose? I mean, they all look the same. I mean, you say that you have integrity, that you're honest, and that you get results. So does everyone else, right? So when I ask you what is your reason, so here's the question I ask everyone. Why should I hire you? If I am a buyer or seller, why should I hire you? That was the question that we were asking up until December of last year. In December of last year, we added an additional question. Why should I hire you and pay you? You were already there. Because now it's different. The way that we speak to our clients or customers before, why would you hire me? Because you don't have to pay me and I'm going to do a great job and the other side of this transaction is going to pay me. I'll take that. Now, why should I hire you and pay you? Very different question. So here's our job. Our job is to stand out. And not only stand out for the sake of being different. We do not want to be different, ladies and gentlemen. We want to be what? Any guess? Interactive. Wrong answers only. We want to be
extraordinary.
Nope, not different. We want to be better. We want to be better than the competition. Now, here's my question. What is better? Better is perceived by the customer, client, prospect. And so we want to be different, yes, but we want to find out what makes us different. And here's what I'm going to be willing to bet with all of us here and those that are going to watch. You all are great at selling real estate. You're probably fantastic at selling real estate. You're horrible at communicating why you're different and better than the competition. Because it does not matter how good you are if no one knows how good you are. It doesn't matter the skills, the training that you're here getting, the education, if you are afraid to tell people, hey, I'm better than she is. I'm better than my competition. One of the things that polarizes me from my colleagues, as I would call them, is that when I walk into a room, I walk in like Muhammad Ali. The champ is here. I will come in and say, oh, I'm easy to find if you're looking for the best, right? Because I'm going to encourage you all. If you all are here tonight, that means that you're better than the rest. Part of it is just showing up, right? If you don't show up, we know we don't have a chance. So I don't want us to just show up. I want you all to show up different and better. And so what we're going to do, we're going to look at some practical, applicable ways to not only show up, but to show up better and to make the masses, to make these people right here, make us look like this. If I can have, how many of you have heard of this thing called Casual Friday? Casual Friday, where people wear jeans and stuff to the office? Before I got into real estate, I loved Casual Friday. Casual Friday was the only day that I would dress up. Why? Why? Because now, everyone else, they did the work for me. What did they do? They brought the level of the expectation from here down here. You know what I did? I put a sport coat, a blazer on. They're like, man, you're dressed up. I'm like, we're wearing the same thing. You just don't have a blazer on. Right? And so now that's the difference from here to here. And so I want us thinking, just because it is permissible doesn't mean that it is beneficial. All right? How many of you want to work with the best? We get frustrated with our buyers and sellers because we say they're picky, they're difficult, that they're liars, that they have steak taste on hamburger budgets, right? We say that all the time. How many? But here's what I would ask. If we are given the choice of working with mediocre and the best, who do we work with? The best. Now, your definition of the best might change, right? Your availability to the best might change based on budget and everything. But here's what I would ask you. If your business is not where it should be or where you want it to be, could it be because you're not as good as you're supposed to be? So for me, I wanted to work with the best. I wanted to work with the best clients, customers, colleagues. I wanted to work with the best lenders, everyone. And I looked up and I was an average agent. I mean, I knew a little bit about the market. I sort of knew my buyer and seller base. And I was like, hey, I don't want to work with you. We as agents, and a realization for me was I better work with them because they're the best that I can get at my current skill level. Okay, so we know that everyone wants to work with the best. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to look at how do we become the best. This is the applicable piece of it, whether it's buyer or seller. First thing, the best has to carry themselves. We talk about packaging, right? What's the very first sale we make in real estate?
First impression.
First impression. First impression is what? What is our first impression of? What is the first impression of what? Nope. Nope. You. So, one, with us, we're the first sale that we have to make. Do you all agree? So the very first thing that you have to do is make sure it's always funny when I say this, you have to sell yourself. Okay? You have to sell yourself first. Many of us are fantastic salespeople of our services and the product. We are hesitant to sell ourselves. Why? Because we're servants, right? We're service people. The idea of sales is scary. I mean, I don't want to tell people that I'm the best and I'm more knowledgeable, that if they aren't working with me. So here's what I would encourage you. I want you to get to the point where if a buyer isn't working with you, they pay too much for a property. And you have to believe that. If a seller isn't working with you, they left money on the table. And so that's what I'm telling my clients and customers. If you don't work with me to buy, you pay too much. If you don't work with me to market your property, you left money on the table, right? And then what we're going to look at is how do we show that and get them to believe it, okay? So maybe some of us need to get the competence up. And so we're going to start with the competence marketing piece and the information so that we can have the confidence to then grow. Any questions so far? Have you all heard of, is everyone here familiar with, let me see, the first one I want to do is, let's go RPR. No, let's do Florida Realtors first. Are you all using Florida Realtors website?
Yeah.
Okay, I know some of you are like, man, that's a trick question. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at, there are 3 pieces of information that every one of you need to know about your home market. And if you know these 3 pieces of information in a matter of 3 to 4 minutes, you will be perceived as an expert by anyone you meet anywhere in the country based on whether they're a buyer, seller, landlord, tenant, colleague, or an affiliate partner. The first one, list price to sales price ratio. List price to sales price ratio, or percentage of original list price. If you know percentage of original list price, or what we call list price to sales price ratio, you're already better than the competition. And I'm going to show us what it looks like and why. So list price to sales price ratio, or you might see it as percentage of original list price. The second one is going to be month supply of inventory. Month supply of inventory. You might also hear that as absorption rate. Month supply of inventory or absorption rate. You might also hear this as available inventory. We know inventory has been a big talk, especially in Florida. And then the last one is days on market. Our days on market. If you want to be the realtor, the professional of choice, if you know list price to sales price ratio, month supply of inventory, and days on market. Now, when it comes to days on market, I don't care if it's median days on market, median time to sale, median time to contract, right? All of those are the same thing. We just want to identify which one they're talking about. So quickly, we're going to look at this, and here's why this is so important. Where we get the information easily, we're going to go to FloridaRealtors.org, tools and research. Oops, let me get out of this. And over here. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So FloridaRealtors.org, tools and research, and then we're going to come down here to this market stats. And so the reason I want you all to see this is in a matter of seconds and minutes, we're going to know exactly what we are looking for. So we don't care about any report. To be the agents, to be the professionals, we don't care about any report that says publicly available. Do you all see publicly available here? Why? Because they can get that without us. Okay? What we care about are these reports that say members only. Members only. This is what the consumers, what the general public, what they don't have access to. This is what they need us for. Does the general public need us to look at properties now? Do they need no. Do they need us to get into properties? No. Nope. Do they need us to write contracts? Nope. Everything I just mentioned, they can do without us. Now, do I believe that everyone needs a realtor? Yes, I do. Do I believe that they need realtors right now not to do what they have been used to doing in real estate? So we're going to come down here. I'm going to encourage you all to first look at the county report. Look at the monthly report. The monthly reports come out on the 22nd or 23rd of every month. 22nd or 23rd of every month. Many of you have already seen these reports and you're throwing them in the trash. They're coming directly to your inbox and you have it set up for spam or trash. So I know that today being May 23rd, April's report should be out. I'm going to look at Broward County just to keep things fair for us here. And so when I click on the report, and so remember, it is members only, so therefore I have to log in order to see this information. So let's go. It did come in. This is the report. You all have seen this before. right? But here's what I'm telling you. So now just at a county level, I know what month supply of inventory is for August 24. Why do I care? Because now we hear about this increasing inventory. That's year over year. So we've got the amount of inventory. List price to sales price ratio, 96%. Okay. And then median days on market right here, we're looking at this 30 days to contract, 67 days. That means that we're in escrow for what? 37 days. Right. And so now we have this information, whether I'm talking to buyers or sellers, this is the stuff they don't know. These are the questions that our buyers and sellers are asking. These are not the questions that we're answering. What are we answering? Well, I've sold X number of homes last year. I have X number of awards or designations behind my name. The buyers and sellers don't care anything about that. That makes us different, but it makes us like everyone else. Okay? What we want to do, be different and better, because we're answering the questions that they want to know, that they need to know to make purchasing and buying decisions. Everyone okay with that idea? So that's going to be one area right here. The next place we're going to go, same information is, are you all using RPR? Are we using RPR? Are we using RPR for our, what we would typically call CMAs? I'm going to call them my professional opinion of value. So here's what I'm going to encourage you all to do. When you work with, you speak like. So CMAs, we are no longer doing CMAs, ladies and gentlemen. CMAs, we're throwing that in one of these trash cans, okay? So what we're going to do instead is called a POV, professional opinion of value. If you no longer do a CMA, you are going to win. We're using the same software. We're using the same report. We're calling it something different. What is a comparative market analysis? If I'm a buyer or seller, buyers don't want to buy comparable homes. Sellers, nothing compares to their property. Do you all agree? They're saying, well, that one isn't like mine. What do we want to do? We want to offer them a professional opinion of value. So if you get into neurolinguistic programming, those three words mean something different. Who's going to prepare a professional opinion of value? A professional. Opinions. What can opinions do? Opinions can be dissented upon. You can have a conversation. Now, if you don't like it, we can have a discussion. We can actually have a consultation. And then value is different from price. Okay, so now we start thinking about all of the things that buyers and sellers really care about. So we are no longer doing CMAs, we're doing POVs, professional opinions of values. We are no longer using comps. We are no longer using comps, comparable properties. Those died, those are in the trash with the CMAs. What are we using instead of comps? We're using the word relevant. Relevant sale, relevant transaction, relevant listing. Why would something be relevant? It could be because it's the last most recent sale. It could be because it's the next door property or in the same neighborhood. It might be relevant because it's the only home that's the same size. Right? So this is why during our professional opinion of value, we can have relevant for different reasons. Okay, so we like the word relevant. We hate the word comparable. Buyers don't want comparable properties, and nothing compares to a seller's home. Fair enough? We are no longer doing listing presentations. I know you all like, dang, this dude came over here and destroyed everything I was doing, okay? We're no longer doing listing presentations. What comes at the end of a presentation? A sales pitch, right? Everyone that goes to any type of presentation, if you're going to the condo timeshare thing and you wanted the free 3-day weekend, what do you know? You know you've got to sit through a presentation, and you already know you're going to say no at the end, right? We know that. We as human beings, do we like presentations? Absolutely not. So no more listing presentations. No more listing anything when you are working with sellers. What are we going to do? First, we're going to replace listing every time with the word marketing. You do not get paid to list. Listing agents get paid very, very poorly. Marketing specialists. So when you're working with sellers, you don't list their homes, you market their homes. So I am a luxury marketing specialist, okay? So you are a marketing specialist. To market a property does not mean we just put it in the MLS. Once we say marketing, we can do everything behind that, all right? So when you say marketing, you're having a marketing consultation. So listing presentation died. Listing presentation is in the trash. We're going to have a marketing consultation. What happens during a consultation? There's conversation back and forth. The people that we want to work with and that want to work with us going forward, they're used to having consultations with professionals, agreed? Whether it's going to be their doctor, because here's what I love. I love that our affiliate partners, our lenders, they have consultations. We haven't been smart enough to look at them and see what they're doing. They aren't saying, hey, come in for a buyer presentation. They're like, no, we're not doing that. You want to come in for your initial consultation? Fantastic. Right? So we want to leverage that, and then that's going to help us in our conversion ratios. So marketing consultation. Here's what we're going to do during our marketing consultation. I want you, if you're working with sellers, I want you to steal this phrase that I have stolen, that was stolen before I even took it. It is, you market homes to the world and get them sold. If you are working with a seller, that phrase captures everything a seller wants you to do. You market the home to the world and get it sold. Neurolinguistic programming. As a marketing specialist, I market homes to the world and get them sold. One, you're a professional marketing. You're a marketing expert. Is there going to be exposure? Yes, that's a second fear that sellers have. Is everyone going to see my property? And then the result piece of that is, I'm going to get the home sold. I'm not marketing the property for open houses, for leads. I'm here to actually get the property sold. And so that's what's going to be important for our customer, client, prospect. Everyone okay there so far? We are no longer doing closed sales. All of that is going to be conversation in the past. We are now calling that real buyers. A real buyer is something that is tangible. A real buyer is someone who liked the property so much that they parted with their hard-earned money, or they actually decided to go into debt for it, right? A real buyer and a closed sale is very different, all right? And so that's just part of the vocabulary. We're good so far. And so here's why I wanted to share that. Q, yes?
Sorry, I just need you to back up because I walked out.
You're going to have a video. Come on. Okay, where?
So relative. He walked in with relative. So you said remove what word to replace relative?
Okay. So we are going to remove comparable. So comps, no longer comp sale, comp listing. We are going to replace comp with relevant. So we're removing comp and we're replacing it with relevant. Relevant is a word because now as professionals, we can have a defensible position for relevant, where we might not be able to defend comp as well. Does that make sense? Okay, so here's where. And the reason I went there is RPR. If you're a member of NAR, everyone has access to RPR. Are we aware of that? So RPR, National Association of Realtors, Realtors Property Resource. So RPR, so it's NARRPR.com. You can't see it here, NARRPR.com. Go there, get it set up. It's probably on your dashboard for your association. But here's what we have been doing. We have been using RPR as our CMA, what we are now calling our POV, our professional opinion of value. We've been using RPR only for our reports to generate comparative market analysis. Now we are going to use it for research. And here's what I need you all to do. This is how, in a matter of moments, this weekend, you are going to be the realtor of choice. No question. Because here's what we're going to do. We're going to come here and we're going to come down to neighborhood search. Are you all with me? So you're going to RPR, you're going to neighborhood search. You're going to put in neighborhood, city, zip code. I'm going to do one of my zip codes in Fort Lauderdale. When I come over and hit the search button, immediately it's going to tell me month supply of inventory, days on market, and list price to sales price ratio. Month supply of inventory, list price to sales price ratio, median, days on market. It also tells me my median sales price. Okay, why do I care about that? Now, instead of looking at the county piece, I dive in for zip code. There are 7 zip codes that I work. Waterfront single family homes and homes that have at least an acre of land. That's it. Anything in between, I'm not touching. So therefore, I get to be the agent of choice. So the market here in 316 zip code is totally different from 331 zip code. One is a seller's market, one is a buyer's market. But I know that, so now in all of my marketing, I have one look for marketing that goes to 316. I have one set of marketing that goes to 331. Are you all with me? And it's easy. NAR has all the information already. We just don't know how to leverage it. And so here's what I want you all to do. Do I do condos or do I do single family homes? I do single family homes. So now I'm coming in, I'm changing everything to single family homes. So now this is telling me, how do I make sure that I leverage every dollar I spend on my marketing? I am not answering. So remember, we talked about answering questions that your client or customer are asking. Some of you are answering the wrong questions. Some of you are answering questions. So for instance, in my business, I do not care, respectfully, I don't answer questions about FHA loans. My customer is not concerned with an FHA 30-year, they're concerned about jumbo. And so now when I'm going to interview Ernie, then guess what? We're going to be on Zoom. I'm going to interview him and he's going to talk about the jumbo loan product and what's going to happen. We aren't going to talk about FHA. Are you all with me? Yep. And so this is how you start leveraging your relationships. Now, quickly, and so I know there's a lot, but here's what I want you all to see. Real estate. We don't care about housing right now. In real estate, we do not care about housing today. What we do care about is this right here. What is that? People. People is telling me in my zip code. So I want you all to see something that I'm going to show you right now. In this 316 zip code where I work, educated individuals, are you all with me? Now, what I'm going to show you, we don't have to like it. We just have to understand it and know it, okay? This is how you go from being a realtor to being the professional and knowing everything about your marketplace, and then people not even know why they like you, okay? So we come here. I know that in my marketplace, we start looking at bachelor degrees, some college, and then grad professional degrees. We look at this zip code versus the US average. This is why I dress the way I do. I dress this way because in my marketplace, where I work, I look respectful, okay? I'm gonna show you all a different zip code where I look like a weirdo, okay? So now we come here. Population of children by age group. In the 316 zip code, there are hundreds of school-aged children. In another zip code that is separated by 2 blocks, there are tens of thousands of school-aged children. In my marketing, when I go to 316, am I putting any children in my marketing? Now, I'm not violating fair housing. We know we're not going to violate that. But I am not putting the husband, wife, and a little kid swinging between them. That's not going to my marketing. Why? Because that means that I don't understand them. I come in, my demographic in this zip code, 55 plus. I speak 55 plus very well. I know what they read, where they're going to eat. I have all of the club memberships to Panera Bread for the Unlimited Sip Club, all of that. Why? Because see, look, all the stuff we know, but we think that real estate is different when it's really not, okay? So let's come down a little bit further. Households with children. And NAR has all this information. We just don't know how to use it. So here we look. Married without children. 1.8 households don't have children. So when I'm going in there, I'm not talking about downsizing. I'm not talking about empty nesters, right? I'm talking to people who are saying, you know what? We don't have kids. We don't understand that lifestyle. Me being so if I'm in 316, I don't talk about me being a kids pastor at my church on the weekend. What I talk about is, hey, I understand the lifestyle that you live. Here's what you want to do. And let's look at this last piece right here. Are you all seeing this? The income amounts. So now household income greater than 150,000. Now we start to understand them and I speak to what they care about. And finally, let's come on. It's telling me where they work, what type of jobs they have. We're going to go a little bit deeper here in a moment. The one that I want you all to look at, healthcare and social assistance, okay? And the reason being because the contrast that we're going to look at is going to show us how we use this info. And then finally, my last, as Jim Rohn would say, it's going to tell me what color to use in my marketing. So now I know if my company color. Now, so this is where I don't need you all to have an opinion about this. I need y'all to know what color to put on your marketing flyer. So when I'm in 316, my marketing flyer is blue. And I don't feel no type of way. When I go to different zip codes, when I go to 331, my marketing flyer is red. Okay? All right, so you all are with me there?
Yes.
Now, any questions so far? Because I want you all to look at what happens. So I told you all that I work in 316. I live in 311. So I live right here. Do you all see something different? You all see the median sales price. So 316 is right over here. I live right here around that street right there. But now let's come over to, so once again, we can see it's no longer a buyer's market. It's more like a seller's market there. Median sales price, month supply of inventory, days on market. But let's come up here, and I want us to start to understand the people. And once you know the people who are buying and selling, they have to like you if you utilize and if you leverage that. So let's come down. Are we starting to see education differences? In my 311 zip code, I dress like a weirdo. I talk like a weirdo. Why? Because the education level is different. So when I conduct myself, the first thing they say is, are you Muslim? Just because of a bow tie, which shows a limited level of educational understanding. And so this also is going to tell me, look at the population of children by age group. Do you all see the tens of thousands of kids here? When I go to 311, I make sure, well, to be frank, I don't work 311. Okay, so we've heard the thing that you have to be the realtor of your neighborhood. That's a lie. All right. Do I believe that everyone needs a realtor? Yes. Do I believe that you have to be everyone's realtor? No, you don't. I want you to be intentional about how you all are going to leverage your marketing dollars, and this is how we do that. So now I come in, we look at the younger demographic, but here's what I want you all to see, and I'm going to show you all a business decision right here. Married with children, married without children, but what's the largest demographic? Single with children. Why do I care about this as a buyer or seller agent without violating fair housing? Now this is going to tell me right here that if I want to have buyer consultations, I probably cannot have buyer consultations in my market after 2 p.m. during the weekday. Why? Kid just came home from school. Can I expect, let's look just a little bit lower. Can I expect someone that's making this much money to put their kids in aftercare or daycare while I go out and show them properties? Nope. What should I expect? I should expect my showing and my consultation times to be on Saturday or Sunday, and I should expect a kid to be present. And so what then happens? We come down in my marketing. So we have 583 households or individuals in the healthcare and social assistance in 316. 4,200 households or individuals are in the healthcare social assistance. So my marketing pieces are going to look different. I am now going to have a registered nurse's assistant in scrubs on there holding the hand of a child in my marketing pieces. And I'm just going to own Adobe Spark or Canva pulling those images. Now I am speaking to these individuals. Are we good so far? Are we better than we were? Not just different. Are we better than we were when we started? Okay, so here's where we're going to take this up a notch. We're going to go even further than we just were. Okay, so this is where I'm going to tell you, this is where I make all of my money. This next piece. This, what I'm going to show you all right now, is where the commas get added to my income. Okay, so under reports, are most of us residential specialists? We specialize in residential, most of us. Okay, under reports, there is a commercial report. So we're still in RPR. Under reports, I want you all to come under this commercial report and click trade area report. Are you all with me? Under reports, come to trade area report. We are going to, so I have some examples here, but we're going to do the same thing that we just did. So all I'm doing is, now this part right here, I am going to tell you, this is the most powerful, most dangerous information that's available. Okay, so we have to be careful. Very rarely will we ever share an entire report with the general public. I'm going to say never with the general public. The only exception is if we have a business owner, maybe someone that comes into the neighborhood and we want to get them into our database. This is what I'm using as my lead magnet. All right, so I am going to do 333, let me go 30. Okay, and then all you're going to do, leave trade area report, and then do you all see run report down here at the bottom? We're just going to hit that run report. That's going to generate, but I am going to pull my 316 report that I already did. Here's what, do you all see why waterfront or waterfront single family or single family with acreage, this is, so I live right there, okay? But this is my marketplace. That's who I'm speaking to when I'm working. And so now you have to make smart business decisions. Where do you want to work? Where are the people that are going to seek out your expertise? Where are they coming from? What do they care about? So now when I come here, I have month supply of inventory, days supply, month supply of inventory, month supply, days on market, and median sales price. But what we really care about is this information here. This is going to tell you everything about the demographic that you never knew you needed. And immediately it tells me, 1, Neil, this zip code, median age. My median age client is 53 to 62 year old, and it's a white Caucasian. I know exactly who my client is, right? So my goal is to be the son or grandson that they never had that they wish they did. That's why I dress like I dress. Okay, that's why I speak. That's why I read Dale Carnegie. That's why I go through and have Norman Vincent Peale, W. Clement Stone. That's why when I go into Panera Bread on 17th Ave, I walk in there with my Think and Grow Rich book. I walk in there with my own coffee mug, and then I sit down and I will have the conversations. I'll have my computer there with my logo, and then they'll say, hey, what do you do? We see you in here every day. I'm like, oh, you know, I'm a janitor. What do you mean you're a janitor? Yeah, I help people clean up their financial mess, right? My personality, it works well. They'll see my Think and Grow Rich book. They'll say, have you read that? My response, a few dozen times. What's your favorite characteristic? Mine is the power of the mastermind. Now they have to like me. Why? Because they like themselves and I'm speaking their language. So this is going to be, we look now, it's telling me everything I need to know. I don't have to guess who my ideal client is. I can see that 33% of the households and 25% of the households are above the age of 53, right? So we've got 53.6 and 64. I do not care what my age group is doing in that marketplace at all. I don't care what they drive, what they read, what they watch. I don't care what media platforms. I'm not on TikTok and IG heavy. I'm on Facebook, right? Why? Because that's where my money is. It's telling me right here. What type of property do they have? Single family or seasonal. Do I like people with single family and seasonal homes? You better believe I do. This one right here, these trendsetters, the 37-year-olds, they're not my market. Let's look a little bit further. Median household income. And this is what I want you all to see because this is a mistake we make. Median household income, $86,000, $89,000, $94,000. We'll say, I want to work with someone who has income of $94,000, but let's now look at median net worth. They're making $94,000, but they have a net worth of $68,000, ladies and gentlemen. Are you all now with me? So everyone that I work with, that we work with, we get to bless you. We get to make decisions about their ability to use our services to hire me. Okay, next thing, home value, waterfront property, right? You all saw the zip code. What do you all see? What does this tell you? Median home value for this older gentleman or woman, and then they might be married over here. So if we're looking at home values of 460 and 486, what is that telling me? What do we think that's telling me? Not just to have some money. What's more important than that? Good decisions, but what else? So here's what I want you all to see. So think about this. This is the location where they are, all right? This information here, and what you all don't know that I know, is that this is the assessed value when it comes to home values, right? So now I know that there are waterfront homes that these individuals have owned for 20, 30 years. So the assessed value is 460, 486. What do I know now? I know that their home ownership rates at 65 and 87%, there's a lot of equity in those homes. while everyone else is struggling to find inventory, what am I doing? I'm sending my mailer that's in blue with everything that they care about, with photos that look like them, and after getting their address and contact information from Panera Bread, I'm saying, hey, do you want to take advantage of the stored up equity in your home? What are they doing? Now they don't have a mortgage, and now I'm telling them that the median sales price for their home is $3 million. What are they doing?
Tell them to call me. You gotta go.
Right? And so this is where we start saying, okay, well, and then I'm going to plug them in. Well, maybe you don't want to do this, this, and this. Maybe you want to purchase the property, keep the cash, not pay cash for a property for your next transaction. Maybe you want to have a conversation with a financial advisor. This is when we start building our team around us. Maybe you want to have a conversation with my lender or the such, right? But here's where it goes in. It tells us what they do with their finances, maintain actively managed financial portfolios, draw retirement income. What are they reading? How are they getting their information? Newspapers. When I go to Panera Bread, I make sure I bring a newspaper. I don't even read newspapers. Why? Because now they have to like me because I'm just like them. Okay? I can tell when I pull up to a parking lot who is in the building based on the type of cars they drive. Are you all with me? And so now, while everyone else is trying to do social media posts, and then they're trying to do TikTok dances where they're doing this right here and pointing at stuff, while they are trying to figure out, I already know who my ideal client is. I'm not concerned with inventory challenges. My clients right now are not concerned with if they're going to pay or who's going to pay the compensation. They want someone who knows and who's answering the questions that they have. Are you all with me? Same thing for buyers or sellers. Then, these are called tapestries. It breaks it down even further. So in my zip code, 316, 33% of my zip code fits into this tapestry. But if I listen to national news, it's going to tell me that only 1.3% of the people meet this, right? And so then guess what? I would miss a significant part of my business listening to this national market, okay? So it's telling me avid readers. They subscribe to cable TV. So I figure out and I know what's happening on cable TV. I don't watch it. I'm just aware of it. It's going to tell me tennis, golf, boating, and fishing. That's what they care about. So do you all know every time you swipe your card and you have to put your zip code in, you think that's a security feature, right? No. It's a tracking mechanism. So when you go in for gas and when you put your zip code in, they want to see where you're spending your money. If you go to Target or Ross, Marshalls, and you have to put and the teller asks for your zip code. It's not for safety, it's for tracking. This is that big data that we have been fighting over. We never knew that we had access to it the whole time, okay? And so now it's coming in. It's telling me what their socioeconomic traits are. Okay, this is why tomorrow evening I'm going to go play golf with some old guys. Right? And we hear, right, okay, well, business is done on the golf course. Not necessarily, but here's what is happening. Relationships are forged. This is why, me being from Alabama, I stress the fact that, yes, I like shooting rifles, shotguns, and I fish. Right? To my demographic, to me, I'm a weirdo for that. To them, when do you hunt? Oh, well, we have this great plot of 300 acres up in Georgia where we hunt. Me and some of my friends from church are going with another group of guys next year. We've already planned a hunting trip to some land that my family has up in Georgia. Right? Why? Simply because now they're like, he must be a good guy to know. All right? Are you all with me? Okay, and so then let's look really quickly at one more. We come down here. So almost 60% of my zip code where I work makes up less than 2% of the U.S. population. Okay, and it's going to tell me right here, maintain regular exercise regimen. They're going to talk about their hobbies and sports, especially golf and boating. So that's why I chose the Panera Bread that I did, because there is a U-Fit in the same plaza for them. So they'll go have their coffee, they'll go over, get on the elliptical for a little bit, they'll come back to Panera Bread, and then they'll probably go to Ross just to walk around. Right? But I know all of that just from this information right here when I dive into the zip code information. And then here's what I want us to look at. We're going to look at the same thing from the 311 zip code. Remember, I'm living right here. This is my sales area. When we come in now, Household type, single parent, singles. Let's look at this median net worth. Do you all see why I don't want to do anything in 311? I don't wear my realtor R. Like now, I believe that everyone needs a realtor. For me, that's not who I'm trying to work with. Okay, so you all make your professional decisions as you like. But now when we come down here, market profile. The first thing I want you all to see, they aren't talking about avid readers. They aren't talking about education. They aren't talking about retirement portfolios. Baby and children's products like food and clothing are the primary purchases. Shop primarily at warehouse clubs, okay? So now, right, we don't have to like it, but we have to be aware of it. And so this is where I need you all to start answering questions, because many of you are talking FHA, you're talking loans, you're talking about saving up for down payments to individuals who that is the furthest thing from their mind. They're thinking about baby products and food for their kids. Okay? And so that's very, very different. Once you're aware of that, now we can start making smart decisions. Is everyone okay with that piece so far?
And one question. Can you make business with those people?
Can you make business? Yes, you can. So,
Scroll up.
I'm sorry?
Scroll up.
Scroll up. This way here?
They say the average, no, home average, yeah, stay right there. Yeah, because this one looked totally different from the other.
Yes. So here's the thing though. So now you get to decide, what does your business look like for someone in this area? So let me ask you, what does your business look like in this area? What are you doing? Besides avoiding, what are we doing? Because there's an answer.
Educated.
Turning over a lot of houses.
What are we doing right here?
Time buyer work.
Okay, so first time buyer work, but it might start with first the education piece. So when we start talking about the home ownership and everything, so we first got to get them educated, right? Because we see education is a big challenge. So first you come through, stop talking about down payment. First we got to talk to them, hey, here's why home ownership is so important. We know about, and these are things that we know that we take for granted. We think that the general public knows about the impact that home ownership and a stable home has on generations. They don't. We think they know about the impact that it has on education levels of the kids. They don't know. Okay, so that's going to be the first piece. Your business would look different if you're working with someone here, because now you're thinking stages. Educate, maybe it's going to be credit repair. Maybe you have to have a credit repair specialist on your team. Then you might have to bring someone in or you might specialize in rentals, right? And so now you're saying, okay, rentals, down payment assistance programs. Are you aware of the Live Local or the home ownership, Hometown Heroes funding, or the different funding that's available for different municipalities? When are the funds rolled out? When are they not, right? How long does it take for down payment assistance programs to dry up in different zip codes or areas, counties, cities, right? And so that's where, but now you get to make that decision, right? And so that's where I think a big piece is. And if you decide, say, I'm going to have rentals, I'm going to do first time buyer, we're going to have down payment assistance. So for me, as a business person, personally, this is not my niche. But here's what is my niche. I do marketing for this zip code. It is under my brokerage. It's not for me. But here's what I'm doing. What do you all think I'm doing with this information right here, or these leads? I'm referring them out to a new agent who needs to get their skills up. And then guess who's getting a piece of that pie? Right here. Because they're excited about what? About the quantity of the lead. For me, I care about the quality of the lead. And so now they're happy because they're getting their practice in. I'm happy because I know they're going to close something, and then it's not requiring any more of me. Does that make sense? So this is where I want you all to stop thinking that you have to sell every property to make money, right? So a huge part of my income and what I do is simply offer referral business. So you all think that I'm here presenting to you all, doing a consultation with you all right now. I'm not. What am I doing? This is my audition. So when you all need, where am I from? Where did I come over from today? Everybody knows that. Guess what? If you all have a lead for Fort Lauderdale, guess what I know you're going to think about? You have to. And so here's what I need you all to consider. I need you all to consider doing the exact same thing I'm doing right now outside of your marketplace.
So Lisa, you asked me why.
So here's what we do. So if you do what I'm doing in your marketplace, the room, they're going to think you're a competitor. They're going to think you're a liability. If you go outside of your marketplace and do this very same thing, if you do it via Zoom and not focus on the West Coast, open up to everyone, now individuals outside of your marketplace are going to say, hey, she's knowledgeable, he's knowledgeable, they're a professional, I have a referral partner. I will tell you, I go across the world talking about RPR, commercial reports, trade area reports. No one's using it this way. So now if you go on RPR's website in front of 1.5 million realtors, guess whose face is there? Me. And it's not just for this right here. Then it becomes, hey, this guy knows something. I believe I could trust him with my referral, and he's not competing with me. Does that make sense? And so now everything that we do, this is how you become the realtor of choice. This is how you get more people doing business with you, because we are focused on, you all have heard the saying, find the needle in the haystack? That's the old way of doing business. Never look for another needle in the haystack. Many of you are looking for buyers and sellers right now. Stop looking for buyers and sellers. Start finding the haystack. What is the haystack? The haystack is the attorney who has a full Rolodex of business. I say Rolodex, man. Whew. Find the financial advisors. So here's what I'm doing. Remember, I told you all that I'm not sharing this information with the general public? But guess who I am sharing this information with? I'm sharing this information with CPAs, with financial advisors, with real estate attorneys. Why? Because they need to know who their client is. I'm giving this to them freely and saying, hey, every month I'm going to make sure that you're getting that members only information. You're going to get something leather bound from me. So about each book that I put together costs about 24 bucks. So 24 bucks, depending on how frequently I give it to them, if they want it physical or if they're going to get a digital copy of it. If it's physical, it's going to be about $24. And I'm willing to give them $24 worth of information simply because I know that when they think of, so probate, estate attorneys, right? These are things that we are leaving on the table. I am even working with funeral homes, right? And so for me, now I'm just making sure that when they go there and they're like, man, let me look at this information, something to get my mind off of. And then there's my information right there. And it looks like something that they would need, that they would want. Are you all with me? So here's what I'm going to encourage you all to do. Stop looking for the needle in the haystack. Find the haystack. The haystack are the people that already have relationships with the people you want relationships with. And the fastest way to do that, how many of you are leveraging videos in your business right now? Here's the type of videos I want you all to do. I want you to interview someone that has a database of individuals that you want to work with. Period. Get on Zoom, have side by side, hit record, start talking, and just ask them questions. If you're talking to a lender, you're asking them, hey, what do buyers need to know in their current market? What's the greatest challenge to home ownership from the lending perspective? What's something that we as realtors can do to make it easier for our buyers or for our sellers if you're working with sellers? When we are marketing homes, is there a special thing that we could put on the listing so that we can attract more qualified buyers? All of these things, and guess what happens? If I'm going to have my lender in the video and I post it and I tag him in it and I share it, what is he or she going to do? They're going to do the exact same thing. The expert is not the one who's talking. The expert is the one who's asking the question and letting the other person speak. If you will get on, I don't care if you don't like the way you look, don't like the way you sound, I don't care about any of that. Just hit record, ask a few questions, and let someone else talk. And we want to do it for about 26 minutes. 26 minutes is that if you can get an interview for 26 minutes, there's enough content there to really pull people in, but they don't think they have to sit down for an hour. Okay? Are you all with me so far? Any questions, comments, concerns? We're okay with RPR. All right, there's a lot in there, and so there's a lot there. Okay, quickly, your job is to have individuals wanting to work with you. So here's what, now, so this is decades of information, but I'm going to show you all how to do it. Your only job over the next, I'm going to say 3 months, is to get published. Your only job is to get published. If you are not published, it's your fault, because I'm going to show you where to get published numerous times in the next few months, okay? And so, but why do I want you to get published? Because once you're published, we use that information forever. There are articles here that I have that's been up there since 2007, okay? But no one knows that Because now, if you see me. So this is the site that I send everyone to, whether they are in real estate, whether they're looking for coaching, if it's a colleague, if it's a buyer or seller, I send them here. Why do I do that? Because now, if I am in front of cameras, if I am in newspapers or on websites, if I'm in front and presenting cameras, you see this audience right here. What does that tell them? That tells them, hey, he's trusted. He knows what he's doing. So your job is to stop looking for buyers and sellers. A real estate agent will look for buyers or sellers. The real estate agent just makes everyone want to come to them. Okay? And so that's your job. And so really quickly, we are going to the very first place we're going to go to is Canvas Rebel, canvasrebel.com. canvasrebel.com. Go there, I'm going to say in the next 48 hours, canvasrebel.com. And when you go to Canvas Rebel, do you all see this nominations right over here in the upper right hand corner? canvasrebel.com. You're going to click on nominations. Here's what I want you to see. They are begging you to submit your information. They are saying, please, we need professionals, entrepreneurs, and businesses to give us their information. Are we, well, we're going to skip over professionals first. Are we entrepreneurs and small businesses? Yes, we are. And if you're here, you are a professional. They need your content. Of that page, 3 of the articles are tied to Canvas Rebel. No one knows. So one of them is Shout Out Miami, one is Canvas Rebel, and the other one is Voyage MIA. Right? But it's all the same thing. And here's all you're going to do. You're going to put your name, email, website, and any social media link that you have. Don't put this. Why? Because that's if you're recommending someone else. Who are we going to recommend?
Us.
Yourselves. Remember that first sale has to be of yourself. So you want to make sure that you're coming in and that you're going to put your information. The easiest thing you can do. If you send it this week, all we're going to do, we're going to submit this every other week. We're just going to wear them down like Steve Urkel did Laura Winslow. I'm wearing you down, baby. And we're going to make them reach out to us. And here's what's going to happen. Here's what the interview is going to look like. The interview is going to simply be a form fill. It's going to be a jot doc or something like that, right? Where they're going to have questions. Tell us about your business. Why should we work with you? And you get to create the narrative that you want about you. So when it comes down to, and so for instance, RPR, we talked about RPR. I'll give you all an idea about that here in a moment. But Canvas Rebel, I want you all to see, all this is nothing but I pick the photos that I want. All they're going to do is, thanks for joining us. We'd love to hear a story from back when you were an intern or apprentice. You get to decide from the drop down that they're going to send to you what you want, which questions you want answered, right? And so there's no mistake if you all look where and the types of individuals. I love photos with old white-haired white guys.
I'm getting a photo with you.
So check this out. So you are like, really? Because here's what does this say? I'm having a conversation with him. He is one of the instructors at one of the universities down there with his students around him. But now what does that tell people? Man, this guy is gleaning from experience, but he's leading the next generation. Yeah. And so this is where we start coming in and you get to dictate how you want to position your business. This is Florida Realtors, right? And so I want you all to see this right here is the same photo. Oops. Same photo as this right here from when they did the video. But now my clientele, my customer base, the majority of them are Caucasian business owners and professionals. That's why I use this. If I can be on a screen in front of 700 of them, guess what? He's trustworthy. Most of my business has come from one photo and one photo alone. This photo right here. If I can hold a microphone, have a Hispanic lady, female leader, and a white-haired Caucasian man listening to me, that tells all of my ideal clients, he's someone that we should listen to. And so you have to figure out who your client is right now. I will tell you all, the reason that you are not the realtor of choice, you're speaking to the wrong people and you're delivering the wrong message. If you speak to the right people, figure out what they care about and only deliver that message. Only. So my ideal client, I have given them an avatar, James and Julie Betterman, 52, 63-year-old Caucasian couple. Every question I ask or I answer, every time I get dressed, anytime I go somewhere and photos are going to be taken, I'm thinking, how is James and Julie going to respond to this? If it's going to be negative, I'm not going into the building. Okay? And so that's how we position ourselves as the. And the next thing I'm going to encourage you all to do, find your local newspaper. So one, Canvas Rebel. Go to Canvas Rebel. Every other week you're submitting your information. We got that, right?
Then when you said that, I mean, because that's even great for us. When you're dropping that information, that gives you a shot of them choosing.
They are going to choose you. Because here's what, so not talking about your age, but you're probably old enough like me to remember what we call a 24-hour news cycle, where the news that came on in the morning was the same news that we saw at night, and then they would do a recap of it the next morning, where here's what happened from what we told you yesterday. Now it's about an 7 or 8 second news cycle. Reporters, they do not have enough content. They do not have enough professionals submitting content. So if you submit your information to Canvas Rebel, you are going to be featured on Canvas Rebel, and that link is going to live forever. And now you dictate how you show up. And you're not going to speak to the low-hanging fruit. You're going to speak to people who want to work with professional business and entrepreneurs, right? Because it just attracts something different. And then you aren't looking for it, then people want to look for you. Are we good? To answer your question, if you submit, they're going to have to, because they're going to say.
I was wondering, yeah, it seemed like that because you're going to hammer that every week.
So they're going to contact you. They don't have a choice. Because, and the reason we're doing it every week is because they're getting so much, they're getting overwhelmed, and a desire, not desire from people submitting this, the pressure's on them that they have a very narrow attention span. So we just want to keep showing up in their inbox. Like I'm going to show you all something else different. Yes, squeaky wheel gets the oil, absolutely. And like I said, you don't even have to be good, but you position yourself, and then after you position yourself there, you get this, and then the perception. And so I tell everyone that other people's perception of us is a reality that we have to deal with. And so we want to set the perception up here and then grow into that and move up. Okay? Can I keep going?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so find your local newspaper, TV, it doesn't matter who. Now, I'm stressing local. Here's why. Because at the bottom of every local news site, news source, they need content. So if you go all the way down to the bottom, prior to the pandemic, this contact us would probably go to a form field, right? You all remember the form field, and you wouldn't know their email addresses and all that. Now, the reason I say local is because this is Sun Sentinel over in South Florida. This is not going to work for the Chicago Tribune, okay? It's not going to work for them. I tried it. They were like, nope, brother, you are not getting published by us. New York Daily News, not going to work for them. But what is going to work, if you come down, you can submit a news tip. But here's what I want you all to do. At the bottom of News TV, go to the Contact Us, and what you're going to see, they are going to give you direct email addresses for all of the different departments. So for me, I would come in. Julie Anderson gets emails from Neil all the time. She's tired of getting emails from me. What is she getting? On the 22nd, 23rd, when those monthly reports come out from Florida Realtors, she's getting a breakdown with my opinion on the housing market. And what am I talking about? List price, sales price ratio, month supply of inventory, days on market, in my few zip codes. I'm going to maybe sprinkle in some international or global news, right? If we come down here, now, what other emails do we see? We see Metro News editor, sports. So I submit a lot of my for entertainment features and editors. So one of my friends, he is the saxophonist for the Miami Heat, the Dolphins, and the Marlins. We're playing golf. He's one of the guys I'm playing golf with tomorrow because they're his connections that I'm meeting with. So I'm going to take a lot of photos. We're going to have a lot of video, and we're going to have some conversation, and then I'm going to share his information and the story of him with them. Why? Simply because so I can be the source. It's not about me, but if I can get Sax featured in the news, now he's going to come back and say, Neil, you did me a solid. Here we go. Let's go out again. All right. But then ultimately, the easiest way down here, you all know how when you get your designations and whether it's CRS, CIPS, you get that press release. And we just throw the press release away. It just stays in our inbox. I'll be like, people still do press releases? Put the press release. You're going to send the press release to the newspaper, and they are going to publish it online. And then you're going to get that link, and you're just going to have it in all of your marketing. This is stuff they don't tell you.